Well, I've already mentioned how important relationships with parents are, and that extends right throughout childhood. And it's not just the activities that parents do with their children, it's they talk about. It's being open with one another about the impact that each is having on the other. So if the child is behaving badly or not sleeping well, then tell them how you feel about that. And equally, find out from them how they're feeling about some of the things that they're doing. Well, why are you having a meltdown? Of course, not in the middle of the meltdown, but afterwards. Are they conscious of what has happened? And of course, the relationships that people build with siblings, or if they have no immediate siblings, with other relatives of similar age themselves or from neighbors' children, those relationships can also be pretty critical as helping children learn appropriate behaviors, social behaviors, and learning to control their emotions when they're with children who are having difficulty controlling their emotions. I remember one set of families when we were asking them about what type of preschool or school, I think it was, that they would like their child to attend. Now, their children had behavioral problems, and this is one of the difficulties the parents were experiencing. And one of the things the parents whose children had behavioral problems said was they didn't want their children to be mixing with other children with behavioral problems. But the paradox is that you can't very easily be helping the child with behavioral problems. They have to also learn how to cope with children who also have behavioral problems. So it's important that children learn how to negotiate relationships with one another. And I think grandparents are another source. I'm speaking personally here in the hope that as a grandparent now myself, that I can make a contribution to the growth and emotional development of my grandchildren. And while you may not have the relationship that children have with their grandparents can be quite different to that they have with their parents. I think there's scope in that type of relationships for talking about issues that they might be a bit hesitant to raise with their own parents, but more open to doing it with a grandparent. And while there may not be immediate grandparents to hand, then some services and schemes have found volunteers who are willing to act as substitute grandparents. Helping children create their own friendships with the family is also a really important element. And certainly our research would suggest that the more friends you have, the more included you're likely to be. And some of those friendships can develop through membership of clubs, swimming clubs, artistic clubs, dance clubs. There are many of those activities. And one of the researches that we've been involved in fairly recently is asking the personnel who run these mainstream clubs, how welcoming would they be of children with disabilities? And over 75% of them, without any qualification, said yes, we would be quite open to it. Indeed, that's something we'd welcome. The other 25% said yes, we would welcome it, but we need a bit of extra help and support or guidance. I think there's a great disposition in the general public to say yes if you ask. And in all these relationships, one of the things we have to be much more open about is talking about feelings. And while children with disabilities, if they've got poorer communication, may find it difficult to find the words to express their feelings, and maybe you have to look for non-verbal signals. Or there's an approach now called talking mats, which relies on pictures, and the pictures show how people might feel, and by helping the child learn what each picture means. And through using talking mats, even children who are non-verbal can often start to share with you some of the feelings that they're experiencing that may well bode ill for them in terms of the difficulties